Yo, what's up, guys? You're looking for some Week 7 quarterback streamers? You've come to the right place. I'm going to go through some of my favorite picks for this week. I don't really stream quarterbacks too much anymore, to be honest. I used to do that in the past, but I got pretty fucked a couple seasons in a row. Made it to the playoffs or the finals and had a decrepit quarterback or didn't choose the right guy, and it just feels bad not having a guy that can carry you this season. Went in on Josh Allen, went on guys like Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. So anyway, if you're looking for a streamer, you've come to the right place. Let's start at the top. So the way I like to approach streaming quarterbacks is a couple of ways, and I'll kind of start from the top of my priority to the bottom. The top of which is over-unders. So I don't know who they got working in Vegas or who creates these over-unders and these money lines, but they're pretty damn accurate. And it's the best indicator, in my opinion. Let somebody else way smarter than me do the research for me. So I want to find these matchups and find these games where there's an expected high amount of points to be scored. So it's pretty straightforward. And with that in mind, Geno Smith fits the bill. So heading on over to the Week 7 over-unders, we see that on the slate, the Seattle Seahawks versus Chargers have the highest over-under on the week with a 52.5 over-under, which is leaps and bounds above any of the other games on this slate. We have a 48, I believe, which is the Kansas City versus Niners, and there is somebody on my list for that game as well. So Geno Smith heads the top of that. The Chargers are a good defense on paper, but they do give up a lot of yardage. They do give up a good amount of touchdowns. They're kind of middle of the pack on average in most categories, bottom when it comes to things like yardage. I think they've given up quite a lot of touchdowns. 11 touchdowns given up on the season. It's quite a lot. That puts them above a lot of other teams. So you can expect Geno to maybe throw for two, have a nice, nice rushing day perhaps with 25, 30 yards of rushing, which is a nice little floor. Maybe even run one in. We'll see if he can kind of duplicate what he did against Detroit, but that's the highest over-under. Geno is the obvious guy. Next on the list, somebody that I'm personally picking up because I'm as a Josh Allen owner, because Geno is probably taken in most of your leagues, and that's Jimmy Garoppolo. And following kind of that same sentiment or that same approach, the Kansas City versus Niners game is a 48.5 over-under, which is the second highest on the slate. And in addition to that, just let me pull up my quick little notes here. The Chiefs have actually allowed the most passing touchdowns on the season. So 15 passing touchdowns allowed. And they only have one interception on the season. I know Jimmy Garoppolo tends to like to throw picks. He just has an itch for it every now and then. Every couple games he'll throw one or two picks. So they're 6th in rushing yards allowed as well, the Chiefs. So that means they are a pass funnel. They do stop the run. I don't know if it's so much that they stop the run or if it's just that teams have to throw against them. They're the highest scoring team on offense in the league, so I imagine teams just have to throw the ball. They don't want to run it very much because they have to keep pace, which is kind of an interesting strategy. I feel like as a team, you'd want to keep Mahomes and them off the field, so you want to run the ball as much as possible, but I'm pretty sure that's what they try, and they just can't. They fall behind too early, and they have to throw it, so I want a part of that game. I'm starting Garoppolo against the Chiefs, hoping he gets 2 touchdowns and maybe 250, maybe 300 yards. Let's see. He hasn't broken 300 yards yet, but I think this could be the game. The Niners are a great team, as you guys know, and they should be okay. I mean, he's done pretty well. He had quite a lot of pass attempts in the last game against Atlanta because they were behind. So the games that they were behind, I expect him to throw, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I think Garoppolo is a really good streamer this week. The third guy on my list is actually Matt Ryan. So Matt Ryan has been bad. There's no other way to say it. He's been bad. He's looked old, but he has thrown for over 300 yards in 3 games this season. Last game, he threw 58 times, 42 completions for 389 and 3 touchdowns. That was against Jacksonville. This is a divisional game. We now have Matt Ryan versus the Titans, the Colts versus the Titans, and it's another divisional game. And some things to note is that the Titans have allowed one of the worst 12 receiving touchdowns allowed this season with a 67% completion rate to quarterbacks. They only have 13 sacks on the season, which is in the bottom third. Now, one thing which is kind of bad, and I kind of mentioned it before, is the over-under. So the over-under on this game is only 42.5. So he's kind of like your safe streaming pick where it's like you're hoping he gets you, 16, 17, 18 fantasy points. And as a streamer, I think you have to be happy with that with the upside of him potentially going for over 22, over 23 fantasy points. If it does turn out to be a higher scoring game, the Titans defense is something that I think isn't a scary defense. So Matt Ryan's another one. And some of your other like bonus picks, guys that I actually do quite like, but they kind of have some concerning over-unders. One would be Daniel Jones. So dude, the Giants have been a revelation. They've been great. They're one of the best teams in the NFL somehow. They beat the Packers. I think they're 5-1, 6-1 or something like that. 5-1. They're great. Daniel Jones has actually been pretty serviceable. So now he gets you a nice rushing baseline. He'll rush the ball about 8 times per week, and he's always someone who could get a rushing touchdown as well. That's something that he actually has done quite a lot of in his past. So he had 1, 2, not very many in 2021, but in 2020, I'm a dirty liar. He doesn't actually get a lot of rushing touchdowns. Why do I feel like he has? I guess he had 2 in that one game, but yeah, Daniel Jones is a solid, serviceable player. He checks it down to Saquon, who could always bust one. And I think, he'll be serviceable against Jacksonville. The only problem is that it's a 42.5 over-under. So not a lot of scoring, not a high-scoring affair. That's what they expect. So he's someone, if you're in a pinch in a deep league, maybe he's someone you could pick up and play. And another guy is Marcus Mariota. Now, Mariota is interesting to me this week because Mariota has actually been pretty decent, and he's actually looked really good. Now, the thing that scares me is that they don't throw the ball very much in Atlanta. So he's been quite efficient, right? So he went 14 attempts, 13 completions for only 129 yards, but 2 touchdowns. And he rushed for 50 and another touchdown. So he had a pretty great fantasy day, but not a lot of opportunities. And that kind of worries me, especially considering the fact that the Atlanta Falcons will play the Bengals this week. And I know that might sound good, but they've only allowed 5 receiving touchdowns on the season, which is like league leading. So that worries me. And they only allow a 56.6% completion percentage. But they've only had 9 sacks on the season, so they don't really get to the quarterback, which makes me think they play a lot of like contained defense, right? They're not rushing, they're not blitzing very much, which kind of scares me with a guy like Marcus Mariota, who is a rushing quarterback. Teams that blitz, teams that leave a lot of gaps in the middle of the field, that's where rushing quarterbacks can usually take advantage. So that worries me. Marcus Mariota, a lot of people think he has a good rushing baseline, and it can potentially be a good game with a 47.5 point over under. I guess they're expecting this game to be pretty high scoring. They're expecting the Falcons to be able to put up points, and I guess they're expecting it to come from Mariota. But I'm tempering my expectations. I'm scared of that matchup, based on the stats that the Bengals have been able to put up, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. If you're in a pinch, he's available. You can pick him up, start him. But that scares me. I'll pick up some of those other guys before I would start them. Hope this video helps you guys. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if there's someone I missed, someone that you guys think is a great pickup. But in any case, hope this video helps you guys. Hope you enjoy it. Take it easy, guys.